Okay, so I'm back. Someone requested, one of the subscribers requested from me to fix this certain kind of pie because they saw I made buttermilk pie. Okay, so since I made this buttermilk pie, she told me it reminded her of her mother, which I'm gonna tell y'all, it touched my heart right here. So she asked me if I would fix an egg pie. So today we're gonna do this egg pie. What we have here, we have my go-to butter. Now the go-to butter is 8 tablespoons. We're only going to use 4 tablespoons. So that's half of this butter. Remember that. Half of the butter. We're going to use ground cinnamon. Nutmeg, allspice. Vanilla extract. Salt. Nutmeg. I have 3 eggs in here. I already have beat it. We have egg white, 1 egg white, and 3 eggs. We have 1 cup of sugar. We have 1.5 tablespoons of flour. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the eggs, put it in here. What I'm going to do first, because we're going to need a cup of milk. And a cup of milk, you have to scale the milk. Now, if a lot of people don't know what scaling the milk is really all about, is you're going to take it and you have to make sure you watch it because you're going to need a thermometer. So add this to your thing. You're going to need a thermometer. It's not supposed to go over 80 degrees, 88 Fahrenheit, or 88 Fahrenheit. It's not supposed to go over that, or either it's going to scorch. Now this is what we call scaling the milk. You're only going to let it get a little warm, and that's it. Okay, and I'm going to put a half a stick of butter into the milk so it can melt into the milk. Okay, you don't let that milk get hot. You remember that. Do not let that milk get hot, because all we're going to use is 4 tablespoons of butter. Okay? And I'm going to put it into the milk. And I'm going to let this here melt into that milk. I already have it where I'm scaling it already. So it's going to go ahead on and start melting. Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, the eggs are already here. All right, I already have the eggs like this. I'm going to put my cup of sugar in here. And I'm going to mix that up. And do not put this in a mixture. Everything is mixed by hand. Just remember that. Everything is mixed by hand. Everything is going to be at room temperature. That means you're going to put your eggs at room temperature, your butter at room temperature, your milk, you're going to go ahead on and take it and warm it up on top of the stove. Do not boil it or you're going to have to start over. Okay, because what we're doing, we're scaling the milk. All right. Okay, so I have this in here already. I'm going to put my flour in here. This is 1.5 tablespoons of flour. Remember, I had 1 cup of sugar. Each thing you stir in it. Just stir it to mix in really good. Okay, so we're mixing this up already. What I already have mixed up, and we're going to use 1.5 teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's 1. And we're gonna do a half. 1.5 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then I'm gonna mix this on up here just like this. Okay, and then we're gonna use a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Now, I'm doing this here because this is the way I like to do it. Okay, but sometimes what people do, they take it and they sprinkle the nutmeg on top, which we're still going to do that. But I like to add a little bit more oomph up in mine because I like me a little bit more taste. We got cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And allspice, we're just going to use 1/4 of allspice. Y'all know you can't use too much of allspice. It'll overpower everything. So I'm just thinking about maybe a half of that 1/4. Well, a 1/4. We're just gonna go with a 1/4. It ain't that much. It's just a 1/4. Then I'm gonna mix this here up in here. And with the egg white, if you're not going to pre-cook your shell, you just, when I say pre-cooked, I mean just let it cook just a little bit and then bring it back down to room temperature. So what you're going to do is when it swells, take it out. Don't let it stay. But what you're supposed to do is take your shell, get some egg white, brush it all up around it. This is so it keeps it from getting mushy because you don't want it to get mushy. Now, I have my scale milk right here with my butter. I'm going to mix this in here. Then I'm going to pour it into my pie shell. I remember one time I've watched someone make this here before, and what they did, they took it and they mixed oh, that made just enough, didn't it? Oh, right there, good measurements. Then we're going to get a little bit of this here nutmeg, and we're going to sprinkle this over top of it, just like this. Just sprinkle it a little bit over top of it so it can have that flavor. And then you're going to preheat your oven 400 degrees. Preheat it 400 degrees. Then after you preheat it 400 degrees, then let it cook on that for about 15 minutes. Then cut it down to 325. After 15 minutes, 325. Because it's going to take this here 45 to 50 minutes to cook. Okay? So I'm just letting you know that. Hello. Now, look at it. This is a egg pie. Okay? And I put a little bit of my own twist in there. Now you have to let this here cool down all the way because it's firm. And that's good because it's firm. Now I'm going to cut it and make sure we have it good. It's not cooled down all the way, but I want to see what I have. But they request and says everything's supposed to be cooled down when you make pies. Let me see here. Okay, Deborah, get it right. All right. Should have let it cool down a little bit more. It has to cool down a little bit more. You know, that's how my buttermilk pie turned out. Same kind of way. I didn't let it cool. Too impatient. Too impatient. Let me taste this here. So we get here. All right. All right. It's good. It's good. It is good. Mm-hmm. Really, really good. I really, really like this. It doesn't taste like the buttermilk pie, but it has a real good taste to it. And it's good. It doesn't have like, you can't taste all them eggs and everything in it. And remember what I did. I preheated my oven 400 degrees. I took and put the pie shell. I'm going to tell y'all what I want y'all to do to your pie shell. You take it out. You make sure that you put your egg white up around it. Brush it up around, all around it. That's why you separate the yolk from the egg white. You separate it and you have your egg white and you brush it up around there. Then take it and put your filling that you make. You pour it into that and place it into the oven, 400 degrees, for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then take and cut it down to 325 and let it finish cooking for the rest of the time. It is almost going to take almost like 50 minutes to me. Check it at 40 minutes and then smash on it just a little bit to see if it's kind of firm. Then take it out, let it sit for 1 hour to cool down. Now when you're making an egg pie, buttermilk pie, you cannot leave those out. They ought to be refrigerated. They taste good cold too. So don't think it don't. Just like a sweet potato pie tastes good when it's cold too. And you see everything I did. I put me some nutmeg, cinnamon, and all like that in there. And nutmeg, cinnamon, and a little allspice. I put that in mine because I like a little flavor to it. And then don't forget to sprinkle on top with the nutmeg. And if you want any additional nutmeg on it, you can sprinkle it more. Everything is optional. You know, do a dry run. See how it does. Okay? And all I want to tell you, I'm not leaving y'all with that today. But all I'm going to say to you is bon appetit, baby.